This is Richard Campbell from .NET Rocks. I'm here at DevConnections in Orlando, and with me is Kathleen Dollard. Hi, Kath.
Hi, Richard. How are you doing today?
I'm great. It's good to see you again.
Yeah, it's been a fun conference.
Yeah, absolutely. Always is. You're working like crazy this week.
I am having a nutty week. It's pretty crazy. I got 5 talks, plus I'm taping 4 talks for the I don't even know how we're delivering this.
I don't know the whole
We're doing tapings. We're doing tapings to distribute for people to see what's going on here. And I can't imagine are we going to mail DVDs?
I don't think we're going to mail DVDs. I think they'll be available online. But the bottom line is Camtasia recordings with your voice.
With headshots and the whole thing. It's just been a crazy, crazy day. A crazy week. But it'll be fun. I'm looking forward to it.
So we're going to jump out of technology for a little while.
Let's do it.
Yeah, I know you're very excited about this whole Nepal thing.
Yeah.
So this coming fall, well, I guess I'd go back to the beginning of the story when you first heard about it. So Stephen Forte and I, and a couple of other troublemakers, the sort of usual suspects, Joel Semeniak, and we all went to Nepal last fall, and we were going up the Khumdu Valley to the base camp at Everest.
Right.
And it's about 10 days up and 4 days down. And we had a chance to hang with the Nepalese. We had a great group of Sherpas, and we stayed at various tea houses. It's not as rustic as you might think. I mean, it ain't no 5-star. But you're sleeping indoors every night.
Right.
Somebody's making you food. You know, it's fairly civilized.
I like this so far.
Oh, absolutely. And the first half of that climb, because you start at about 9,000 feet at Lukla, which is that crazy airport with the runway on the hill.
Oh yeah, I saw pictures of that thing. Craziness.
Very exciting way to land an airplane. It's and fenced all around, so you're quite committed.
Yes.
Then you go up and down and up and down and up and down and up and down, and you're with people. I mean, you're going from village to village till about 14,000 feet, which is interesting because at 14,000 feet, you're way up there. I mean, we're battling the altitude, drinking lots of water, tough to sleep.
That's the highest mountains we have in Colorado, or a bit over 14,000 feet. We have about 50 mountains between 14,000 and like 14,500 or something like that. So that's very high.
So imagine we're at 14,000 feet in a village called Farishay.
See, the thing about me is that at this point, Richard, you're still climbing up.
Oh, no, we're in a valley.
I know.
We're in a valley with a river. There's yaks, and there's a village. There are people who live there.
Big hearts.
Oh, and they have the nicest people, too. But they're little. And the bathrooms are very rustic. So there was lots of conversation about how to use a squatter correctly. I think we actually took a photo sequence.
Let's drop that one. Okay, let's drop it.
But after Farishay, when you start going, now you're getting towards Everest.
Right.
You now get into nothing's alive, right? It's just rock and ice. And there are still 2 more villages.
Really?
Yeah, it keeps going. The last stop is Gorpshep, and it's at 16,000.
Now, are those last villages primarily for the trekking?
Entirely for the trekkers. And that was arguably my only complaint of the whole trip, was we were on the trekking trail the whole time. We were really in the Nepalese equivalent of a tourist trap.
Well, I imagine it's a little different.
It's still very grounded. It's still, but it's really an interesting place. Very earthy. Very much, I mean, the food's all grown locally, that whole thing. But it was my only comment when we were talking about this whole experience was we still were on the tourist track, and I want to get off the tourist track. Well, it turned out that the group of Sherpa that we were with were all from the same village. And I mean, you got to think about these guys. I mean, the thing that's interesting about these people in general is they're self-sufficient, right? They get enough food to live. They trek twice a year for about 2 months, really just for luxuries. But these guys have been saving their money because in their village, they wanted to build a library. So they contacted us and came back to us after we'd already come back and said, you know, you guys are talking about wanting to see other parts of Nepal. We're thinking we're going to build a library in our village. Did you want to help? We're like, sign me up.
And that's the first I hear about this. I'd heard about that you guys were going over there, but to be honest, it's like I know I don't look it, but I'm actually older than these guys are. Yeah, I know it doesn't. I know it's a shock. Okay, I know it's a real shock. But the idea of going to 18,000 feet is not one of my life dreams. This is not one of the things that I feel like I want to do. But to actually see some in Nepal, so they actually, I mean, you should tell a story about how you and some people not even going on the trip plied me with wine. Got me in a state where I would actually not say no too readily. And I had some questions about this, but I'm thinking like, oh man, yeah, I'm definitely wanting to see part of Nepal.
Yeah.
To see off of the trekking routes, to see the people and actually contribute to to what's going on there and to help people in another part of the world. This has got all the pieces that I want. It's
well,
awesome.
And of course, once you grab a bunch of geeks together, it's not that hard to find people willing to donate laptops. I think we've worked out a way to bring satellite internet access into that library. So
super! I hadn't heard that.
Yeah, that's part of the challenge. It's not the hardware is the easy part. I've set up that stuff all over the place.
And they have some electricity there, so we're not toast on that.
They run most of the power is run either solar or what they call run of the river, where they basically put an impeller in the river.
Yeah.
But the biggest challenge is the fees for internet.
Right.
So
what's the plan?
Well, I think we found a sponsor to cover them for 4 years.
Super. Oh, that's awesome.
So that suddenly, it's not a big deal to get DSS satellite gear and get actually hooked up. It's the Thurea is the vendor in that area.
Right.
But I think we're just geeks with hearts, right? Geeks
right.
getting together and doing the geeky thing.
That's such a name, Geeks with Hearts. That's a great phrase. Because I know so many people in this industry that really do have a lot that they can give back and want to give back and ways to help people. And I think that this is just an awesome extension of that. And you know what? I think it's going to be just one whale of a good time.